Some AI-generated content is really easy to spot, and our ease at identifying these fakes gives us a false sense of security that we'll always be able to distinguish between what's real and what isn't. But the truth is, really good AI-generated content slips past our noses all the time. We just don't realize it. And as the technology continues to refine itself, it's only going to get harder and harder. In a world where information is the most valuable commodity, misinformation is particularly insidious. But don't worry, spotting AI doesn't require tech skills, just awareness of key tells. Recent stories about many supposedly savvy people being fooled by an AI-generated image of the Pope in a puffy coat is just an odd little example of this. But first, a quick note. My name is Mr. Livingston, and I will be your sub for this video. Rachel is busy working on a course that will teach you how and when to use AI. Don't worry, I'll tell you more about it later. But first, I'm going to teach you how to better spot AI fakery in videos, audio, images, and text. Remember how early in the development of AI, we all got a good laugh out of those improbably bad images of Will Smith eating spaghetti? Well, apparently Will Smith has become embroiled in another controversy regarding AI-generated images. Only instead of being an unwitting participant, he is now actually the perpetrator. A recent advertisement for Will Smith's upcoming tour featured the rapper performing in front of a large, rapturous crowd, only for the large, rapturous crowd to, in fact, be created by AI. This may not rank among some of his biggest controversies, but it's still not a good look. While getting tricked into buying tickets to a concert that isn't as popular as promised may not be the worst fate, there are some things you can look out for to keep from getting tricked. Mouth movements out of sync with speech, blinking that looks unnatural or too smooth, jewelry, ears, or hair flickering or changing between frames, background objects that shift or melt on pause. And for crowd or group shots, repeating faces, warped text, and lighting that just doesn't match. Remember, you can pause and zoom in on a video, just like you would with an image. Feel free to do this if something seems fishy and you want to examine it in closer detail. Getting tricked by a Will Smith promotional video is embarrassing, but getting fooled by an AI pretending to be a high-level government official could have real deadly consequences. In July of 2025, someone used AI technology to impersonate Secretary of State Marco Rubio on the phone. They were able to convince foreign ministers, a member of Congress, and a US governor, and were able to extract some sensitive government information this way. But even on a smaller scale, there's been a rising number of phone scams where unscrupulous actors have used AI to mimic a family member's voice over the phone, doing it well enough to convince some unsuspecting people to hand over large sums of money, claiming it was needed for bail in a foreign country or possibly ransom or blackmail. If you ever get a rushed and unexpected phone call from a friend or loved one asking for money under strange circumstances, there are a few things you can look out for. A tone that is too flat, or odd cadence, or unnatural pauses. You can listen for background noise that is absent or oddly clean, and overuse of generic phrases and repeating patterns, or just generally not sounding like the person usually communicates. If you suspect that the emergency phone call you just received may be some sort of AI-generated hoax, here are a few tips you can use to protect yourself. Verify any requests for money, account access, or sensitive information through official or known channels. Hang up and call back using a verified number if something feels off. Your company may want to establish safe words or layered verification for any financial transactions. And as always, be alert to urgency or pressure tactics, as these are common when people are trying to scam you. There are a few tools out there for detecting phony voice recordings, including Deepware Scanner, which is good for detecting deepfakes, and Pindrop, which analyzes voices to detect clones. But you may not always have the time or ability to utilize these when you are on a phone call. In addition to audio and video recordings, you also have to be wary when looking at still images. If you're looking to distinguish between real and AI images, here are a few key examples of things to look out for. Hands and fingers, often extra or fused or oddly shaped, although this has become so obvious lately that most AI image creation tools have really stepped up their game and are good at getting the right number of fingers and hands. You may have more luck focusing on, say, teeth or mouths. You can check for too many teeth or blurred or unnatural spacing. And much like videos, you want to scan the text and backgrounds. Look for signs or logos or book covers because they may be just gibberish. Also check for jewelry or glasses or anything that looks warped or asymmetrical or just melting into the skin. You can also check the lighting and shadows to see if the direction and intensity doesn't match across the whole scene. And double check the background for details of objects bending or repeating or blurring unnaturally. If you're ever not sure, there are a number of handy tools out there, including AI or not, Hugging Face detectors, and using reverse image search in Google or TinEye. These are not perfect or definitive by any means, but they still can be fairly useful. While the ability to detect AI in images and audio and video can be challenging, it can be even harder to spot with the written word. And these days, everything from book reports and essays to newspaper articles and legal filings are susceptible to being duped by AI. What steps can you take to help spot AI when you're reading? Here are several things you can keep an eye out for. One is overly formal or generic phrasing. Stuff like, "in today's fast-paced world," or "it is important to note that," or "furthermore, it should be mentioned that," and especially "in conclusion." AI loves wrapping things up a little too neatly. None of this on its own guarantees that you're looking at an AI writer. It may just be a bad human writer. But if you start to see these pop up a little too frequently, you definitely want to question it. Secondly, you'll want to keep an eye out for repetitive sentence structures. This can be a little more subtle, but if you start to notice that the sentences often follow the same rhythm, subject, verb, object, over and over and over again, you may want to be a little wary, especially if you see multiple sentences in a row that start with transitions like moreover, additionally, or however. The third thing you want to be alert for is a lack of specificity. AI tends to use broad terms. Significant impact, vast majority, plays a crucial role. Phrases like that. While it tends to avoid precise names and dates or real examples unless it's absolutely necessary. Seeing this could be another sign that you're reading something authored by AI. Now, those are the three main things to look out for, but you'll still want to train yourself to look out for some stock filler phrases, for example. Stuff like, "this highlights the importance of," and "a growing body of evidence suggests," or "plays an increasingly vital role." I mean, it's not that humans can't occasionally use these phrases, but AI seems to like them a whole lot. Another thing to check out for is a bland but balanced tone. AI tends to hedge its bets and avoid taking a strong stance on anything one way or another. AI will also get caught up in circular explanations, repeating itself, stating the same thing over and over again using different words, rather than adding any depth. Just saying the same thing multiple times in multiple ways without going anywhere, reiterating what was just said, and, well, you get the point. AI is also particularly inept at making jokes. If you read something that sounds like it was supposed to be funny but isn't, that might be a sign it was AI. And one of AI's biggest giveaways is an unnaturally enthusiastic tone, especially about subjects where that level of excitement makes no sense. Using terms like revolutionary and groundbreaking and an unprecedented opportunity makes things sound like ad copy, even when that just makes no sense in the context. Now, there are a few tools designed to help detect AI in writing. GPT-0, Sapling AI, and Turnitin's AI checker. You can even use Grammarly's tone detector to try and spot anything that seems overly generic or inconsistent. But as usual, the caveats apply. These tools are far from foolproof. In fact, now might be a great time to point out that no method for detecting AI is foolproof. AI is constantly improving itself, so that even experts will occasionally get fooled. Every time we think we've perfected some system for defeating AI, AI immediately goes to work figuring out ways around it. Some detection tools may even wrongly flag human work as AI while still missing high-quality AI-generated fakes. And this is only going to continue to get trickier with time. Try to remind yourself that no matter how good you think you are at spotting AI, you're never going to be 100%. That is why it's important to keep learning and stay up to date. Our course may actually be your best solution for this. So stay tuned to the end so you can learn more how to get a pretty good discount on that. It's important to remember to remain vigilant so that you can at least avoid being taken in by some of the most obvious of hoaxes. For images, remember, look closely at hands, text, jewelry, lighting, and the background. With video, you'll want to check for lip sync errors, flickering details, unnatural blinking, and warped crowds. In terms of voice, you'll want to watch out for odd cadence, too clean audio, and urgency in scams. When in doubt, always verify through trusted channels. And now with writing, what you most want to keep an eye out for is generic tone, repetitive phrasing, fake citations, and a general lack of personal details. You don't want to get caught off guard, and you don't have to. Right now, Rachel is working on a course that will give you the skills and the confidence you need to navigate this new AI-infested world. We're starting pre-sales now for the course. Check below to see how you can get a discount for registering early. But now I want to know, what is some of the most ridiculously blatant AI content that you've seen people fall for? Let us know in the comments. And as always, be sure to like and subscribe and turn on notifications and share this video. I know it seems like a lot of work, but we really do appreciate it. Ultimately, you don't need any special tech skills to remain alert for possible AI fakery. You just always got to use your critical thinking skills. AI is a powerful tool and is always getting better, but it's not perfect yet. The more you know about what to look for, the harder you will be to fool. Just remember, stay sharp, stay curious, and don't let the fakes get past you. And if you were paying attention, you probably recognize that as what ChatGPT would tell me that I should end this video with.